people. I hope y'all can hear me okay. Can y'all hear me okay? If anybody's in here. Live chat. I'm getting used to iPhone 17. OS 17, excuse me, OS 17. They did an update and it's not your friend. And yes, y'all gonna see me drink from this bottle because I'm the only one here. Tart cherry juice. Tart cherry juice. Very good, anti-inflammatory, and if you have gout, you don't even need the meds. Tart cherry juice will take care of it. Your gout it'll clean you out. So, let's see who's in here. I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm a little tired. I'll talk about the announcement here in a minute. I don't know who's on. Tanya, what's up? Can you hear me? Tanya, you are in Dallas, right? No, Maryland. You're in Maryland. Maryland? Is that Maryland? Maryland. You're in Maryland, right? Tanya in Maryland. And it should be cold as hell in Maryland because they just showed the winter front across the Northeast. Woo! Tanya, in Maryland, right? And can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, girl. I'm so happy I ain't driving the truck. Oh my God. I was like, when I saw the news, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Tart cherry juice. I'm drinking tart cherry juice. Mine is good. How was your weekend? Really been extra tired. Okay, your yes is broken up, but it's funny. If anybody got gout, y'all see me sucking on this tart cherry juice, it'll help. Hey, Flatbed, what's up? Where you at in the country? Yeah, tart cherry juice is good, but these stores you used to be able to get it you can probably get it still for $5 at Walmart. I was able to get it at Target for $5 for a 32-ounce bottle, just under $6. Everywhere you gotta either find it on sale. You get it at the regular grocery store. Some of them is on crack. Arkansas, okay. Arkansas, how they should be a little cold right now too. There's a cold front going around across the eastern part of the U.S. right now. Although we chilly here because I didn't put my heat on. I woke up. Ooh, y'all forgive me. I got homework to do too. I still ain't done homework today. I just kind of this weekend been a blah weekend. I'll get into everything here in a minute. I'm gonna give it 5 minutes before I start talking about everything. But this weekend's kind of like I got up. I slept in Saturday. I wasn't feeling too hot. I don't know. So I work from home and I got to do my desk. Actually, I probably need to get an entirely different desk, which is probably what I'm going to do because I'm going to be work from home with this company 75% of the time. We'll talk about that in a minute. And right now, the way I have it all ghetto set up right now, and I need a longer desk. And I have an L desk because I'm running 2 monitors and the laptop, and I'm using all 3 screens with this job. So I need a desk that's more lengthwise, and then I need more storage. So this apartment doesn't have a lot of storage. And like I said, I'm still working on stuff. Once I get it all fixed up, it's a mess right now. I've been going through stuff gradually. Once I get it fixed up, I'll give y'all a little tour. Right now, I ain't gonna show it because I got boxes over here. I got boxes in front of me. I still got black bags in the room. And right now, I'm reorganizing my kitchen and getting rid of stuff and bringing some stuff in. So I'm working on it. I'm getting ready to get on what's called a schedule. And I realize that because otherwise, I'm one of those people who will procrastinate. That is who I am. Trying to think if anything else. I'm really tired though. I don't know why. But what I was saying was I woke up. Well, hold on. So I noticed the crook in my neck Friday night when I went to go do laundry. I started having some pain over here, and I did laundry Friday after I got off work. I got off at 4. Head out to the laundromat. Did laundry, and then I went and got something to eat because I knew by the time I got done with laundry, I was not going to want to do anything else. I actually, by the time I gathered laundry, got it to the car, got everything together, it was about 5:36. 6 o'clock-ish, I hit the laundromat. Automatically, if I'm at the laundromat 6 o'clock-ish, I'm not going to get done for 2 hours because I fold my laundry at the laundromat. It's 30 minutes for the wash, 30 minutes plus for the dry, plus the time of folding. So I do all that. And then I threw the laundry in the car, and then I called Linda because I was going to go to Texas Roadhouse. We went to Texas Roadhouse. It was packed. Took most of my food home. Ate the salad. Y'all forgive me. Ate the salad and then came home. Um, and then just Linda contacted me, said, "I wish you would have known earlier." Well, I told you I was going, but she don't get off till 8:30. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. So got here, and by the time I got home, I just pretty much I left the clothes in the car, and I came in the house and crawled into bed and passed out. I was just tired, and we'll talk about why in a minute. Because y'all know I'm in training. I'll talk about that. I can unleash everything now that I've resigned from the other place. So at this point, I woke up and the neck was worse. So luckily enough, when I had the fall on the bus, I had bought heating pads. Well, they can be heating or cold. I was using them as cold pads, but you can put them in the microwave too, or you can steam them, or you can freeze them. And I got that, and I just started putting on my neck. So I did it yesterday and today. Not as bad, still a little bit of a twinge, but I just did heating, and that has been it. So been going through that. That's pretty much it. Let me see who all is in here. Um, Other than that, really kind of relaxing. I didn't do as much as I should have. Hey, Wendy. I should be using this, but it's like I'm exhausted. By the time the weekend hits, all I really want to do is crawl in my bed and sleep. And I slept yesterday till about, well, I got up. So yesterday's Saturday. I woke up at 6 because I have to be up early for the new job. Talk about that in a minute. And so on the weekends, I'm waking up early. But I woke up, had to pee, went back to bed, uh, slept for a little bit, had tinkle again, um, and went back to bed. I'm gonna have to cut soda. Soda makes me tinkle, and I don't buy it for the house. But if I go out somewhere, I drink soda. I drink soda or sometimes tea. I need to just switch straight tea because tea is better for you. It's a diuretic, so it helps flush. But soda, for whatever reason, it tears my bladder. It's like I'm barely able to make it to a bathroom. So, and I don't drink sugar soda. I drink sugar free, but it don't matter. And then it also makes me itch. I think it's acid. So I need to leave it alone. It's talking to me now. But I got in here and I went to sleep, but I was up and down all for going back and forth to the bathroom. And by the time I woke up, it was about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And so I didn't get out of here until then. And actually, I woke up at 1. I ordered, Target has changed my life. They high as hell, but I love the car delivery. I, y'all, I'm becoming grumpy. I don't like people. Well, the new people, they're weird. And maybe it's just because I'm getting older. Maybe I'm weird, but they're strange to me. I, if y'all watch the video from the laundromat, we'll talk about it in a minute. I have a problem. I don't. I sit up there and I'm going, is something wrong with them? Folks walk on you, no manners, no excuse me, oh, I'm sorry. None of that. It's like they have the right to be without any kind of courtesy. We go into the parking lot and people just walk in front of the car without stopping to look and see. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute, y'all still going? And I'm not understanding. It's all, hey, Delphi, what's up, baby? It's how's your weather? Where you at? And where are you at in the country, Delphi? Like I know Wendy is in Colorado. Flatbed is a truck driver, so she just tells me where she's at. She's in Arkansas right now. Tanya's on here and Tanya's in Maryland. So where are you at since you coming and joining our party? Where you at in the country? Indiana. Oh, okay, I've been to Indiana. I've been to Indiana. Y'all nice and green. Um, you got it. That's a heavy trucking lane though. Indiana depends on where you at, but most of the Indiana when we went, that's a heavy trucking lane. Y'all got a heavy trucking lane up in there because that was a good. They had a couple of truck stops to stop out, and your rest areas were decent, but y'all a heavy trucking lane. Um. Anyway, I'm like, what is wrong? It's funny. Y'all, I'm gonna go philosophical here for a minute. We'll get into the news about the job and everything in a minute. And I'm Christian. Y'all know that. But as I'm sitting here and I'm watching, and Oh, okay. What happened? Well, okay, Wendy. Yeah, put in there what happened to him. As far as driving the truck, make sure is he having heart issues, and we'll be praying for him. Um, yeah, and put in here and tell me what's going on. Um, but I watch people, and folks are just weird. And the other thing that bothers me is the behavior of children. I don't know. I'm like, I'm sitting here, like I went into the laundromat. There's two kids. One of the kids, these aren't little kids. We're not talking about 2 year old. We're talking about 5 to 7 years old, right? And they throwing a bouncing, throwing a ball against the wall and window of the laundromat. And the mama's there, the daddy's there. I don't know who this other dude was. I don't know if it's an uncle or whoever. And looked like a grandmother. All the the little generation in there. I won't go with culture, what nationality, ethnicity. Um, is he in a hospital here? He sounds that sounds like an allergic reaction to something. Um, I sat here. Also, he can be that could be COVID, so they need to check him for that. I don't know if y'all got your shots. It doesn't prevent you from getting COVID, but it helps fight COVID. But the shots will help you reduce your time frame because I've had friends who've been they had COVID prior, they got the shots, and then they had COVID again, and it reduced the time frame from when they first was sick. So just to let you know, I know some people are into whatever about anti-vaccine. That's not me. Is he driving or is he at a hospital? Um. Anyway, y'all want to and Wendy, hit me up in the background. Just email me and we'll put him on the prayer list too, and we'll be praying for him. Um. Yeah, Delphi. It's very. Oh, he's home. Okay, as long yeah. Okay, I thought you said he was here in Arizona. Okay, good deal. All right. Yeah, he needs a rest, but you also need to get him checked for COVID. The tongue swelling can be signs of COVID because there was a story about this man whose tongue they actually had to go and cut some of his tongue off because of his response to COVID, how his body responded, his tongue like it was like a giraffe tongue. It was disgusting, but they had to go in and shave his tongue down. Yeah, but yeah, definitely, and I'm with Tanya. We'll be praying for him because um, yeah, you want to make sure and keep him home, and then he needs to get checked out. It almost sounds like a allergic reaction, but I do know that some of the old COVID symptoms can cause some of what you just described. So, and COVID is rampant right now. So, I mean, seeing people with the mask again, I need to go get so I've had all my shots except for the last one, and I need to go get that last one done. Hey, United, what's up, baby? How's your weather and how you doing? You in Georgia, I think, if I remember correctly. Well, if his blood pressure's okay, um, does he have blood pressure issues? And Delphi, I'm gonna come back to you in a minute. If he has blood pressure issues, that's a whole. But if his blood pressure was okay, like I said, it could be more of allergic reaction, which is kind of what it sounds like, or COVID, or something else. Could be viral. Okay, so I would, yeah, you need to get him in and have him checked. If the tongue was swelling, that could be, like I said, it could be COVID based. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying what I read and research, or it could be an allergic reaction. So, what did he eat? What did he drink? What did he ingest? Because it sounds more like something ingested. But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Um, okay, yeah, because he could. It sounds like a reaction to something for sure. Um, Delphi, I'm gonna go back real quick to your question though, or to your statement, because I actually liked it. When I'm looking at society right now, it's really scary. I'm actually happy to be back work from home. We're gonna talk about that here in a minute. I work 3 weeks, I'll be working 3 weeks out of a month at home and then 1 week after going to office, which isn't bad. Um, okay. I'm gonna read this in a minute, y'all. I don't want to lose train of thought because my thought will go somewhere else. I'm gonna read both of them in a minute. Um, what I am seeing is scary to me, in conjunction with people. And you're right about the self-centeredness, and that's something that's a biblical thing because the Bible tells us that in these last days, people will become lovers of self. So they become very self-centered, very narcissistic. It's all about me. There would be no courtesy for their fellow man. There would be no caring for their fellow man. And there's a lot going on. Like I mentioned about the dude that I don't know. I'm presuming he might be homeless. I think drugs and the inundation of the amount of people who are going in that path. How do we address that as Christians? How do we address that as people? Right now, I just pretty much want to stay in my house. I really do, because the world outside the door is like, ooh, what is wrong with you people? You want to get something and go right back into your house because your house is your normal. And again, that might be somewhat self centered. I almost think it's more of a protection from just the madness outside the door, because outside that door, people are freaking weird. And it was funny because me and my niece Vicky, when we went for Thanksgiving and we were all kind of talking, and we're all Christian. Granted, they voted for Trump. We have some different political views. And they did it based on whatever the Christian view was from the major evangelicals who were caught in that madness. And and I'm not saying that he wasn't supposed to be in. I absolutely believe he was supposed to be in office because I believe in God. And God says, I place kings, meaning he placed peoples in leadership. Whether you like them or not, everything is done for a reason, whether you agree with it or not. So I'm okay. That's God's business. I just couldn't support that. I couldn't, I mean, it's not, and like I said, it doesn't matter who does it or not. I wasn't somebody who was going to, defend every aspect of this dude. And they loved him or defended everything. I couldn't justify it. I think he served a purpose, and I think I think all of them have served purposes, and I think the current one is serving a purpose. I'm not a fan of his either. But when we were talking, she said people are crazy, and I'm going, folks are really weird. The conversations you having with people, the way they think, I'll be sitting up there like, and it's all normal. Everything is normal. The current let me tell you a story. So the current gig I'm doing right now, which I'm praying this is gonna be it, is I'm tired of either rapture, the casket, or retirement. I'm hoping this is it, which I actually like what I'm seeing. This company, I came in the door with a pension and a 401k, and they started us in their pension day one. So I didn't have that with the last company. I know people, I told you guys I was doing government insurance, but I was contracted to a company. So therefore, that company did not give us any. I mean, you could invest in their 401k, but their benefits were, it wasn't anything like I was getting government benefits. I was not. Um, they were government contracted. Even how the pay, you could stay at the same hourly pay for years. They wouldn't change it. Yeah, they had some issues. The job wasn't hard though. It was an easy job. Linda's there right now, my friend Linda, and I told her, I said, it's easy. You come in, you get a late shift. I said you might take, maybe when you come in the door, if you come in anytime before 6:30, you might take maybe 10, 15 calls. After that, if you get 4 or 5 calls between then and the end of your shift, you doing a lot. Most of the time, we was either talking, I would read the internet. They wouldn't let us go to Google, but we were originally able to go to .gov sites, and then they stopped us from doing that. So then we're just looking at the screen. So I would sit there and budget and type stuff. You can't take paper. You can't have your cell phone. Um, they wouldn't let you use the internet for anything, other than .gov sites, and the .gov sites that we were allotted were healthcare.gov and medicare.gov. That's it. We couldn't go to any other sites. We originally were allowed to, well, at least when I came in, we could go to read.gov or the Senate or White House, and I would read the sites. That I read how the whole freaking the development of Washington was done because I was at that board. So really, it was, in bridging into this, and I'll bridge back. It was a very easy job. Um, Initially, it was a very simple job, and I was like, okay, but I didn't make a lot. I mean, I made okay. It paid the bills. And then as I got the new due to me car, I was like, okay, Lord, I need to start earning a little bit more money. there was, and I'm building the story. I'm going to segue to why I left. So they put a guy in who was an acting manager. And me and the guy sitting next to me, we were probably on the supervisor we had, who was Sketch. We were her top two reps. I'm gonna say there were probably three of us on the team that were really, really good. Now, one guy next to me, he was a little odd. He was very odd. He was sweet. He was odd. He was into a lot of new agey stuff. He was where he could speak stuff and it would happen, and he would energy and all this, which is demonic. But I couldn't go there with him. He was a sweet guy in his own way, but the stuff his spiritual stuff was out the box. There was another Christian guy on my team which I liked, and his name was Zal. Zal was he's Christian and a minister, and he also went to the school I'm currently at and has his master's from them, but his stuff was in computers. But on the side, he ministers. So he was going and speaking, and I don't know. I think he's Asian. He would never tell where he was from, but I think he's Asian, but he spoke Spanish too. And so he would go minister and he would talk to me, but I noticed that he picked up that the dude next to me was into some stuff, because there was times he would speak to him and I was telling he was speaking to, I'm gonna say, the entity behind him. That's, I'm gonna put it like that. So he was speaking to whatever demonic, because I could tell how he spoke. And I was like, okay, I'm not the only one that picked up that old boy is messing with some massive spirits. And he would speak to him in a way, I'm not talking to you. And he would say it in a way that it was like he was speaking past the guy, right? I was like, okay, Zal, we on the same page. And he would come, Miss Shannon, you pray for me. I was like, I pray for you. I'm speaking here this weekend. Okay, I'm going to Tucson to speak. Okay. So I enjoyed people that were on the team, but I was looking to make more money. So I was praying, Lord, show me where to go here. When I first came in the door, one of the supervisors who was over our training, he said, what's your degree in? And I told him, and he was Latino, so he didn't really, English is second language. I had to explain to him what my degree was. He didn't understand that. Nice guy. And I explained, and he says, after your 6 months, looking to going into the training department. Well, by that time, I had moved to the position what they call dual, which means I was working with two forms of government insurance. So, because I moved to that position, I had to sit in it for 6 months. So that meant I had to wait almost until, because I wasn't there that long before I moved into it, but I had to wait till like August or whatever. So, July, August. So we started asking about other positions. Well, the company was heavy. It had a very heavy cultural group in charge, let's put it like that, and in the company. So honestly, blacks and whites, we were the minority. Okay, I'm just going to put it that way. The majority, except for the three white people in charge, who was the head of the center, I think she's white. The head of HR, he was white, and the second in command was white. Everybody else, I'm going to say 95% of them was of a different ethnic group, of all of which were of the same type of ethnic group, with some sprinkles of whites and blacks, and very little, not a lot. It was more of this particular culture that ran the building, and I'm not mad at them. In the grand scope of America, they're a minority, but in that building, they were the majority. Matter of fact, there was a security guard that had started, and I still think it's funny to this day. We ran into each other in the elevator. She said, "Oh, there are black people here." She hadn't even seen, she was black, and she's a black security guard, and she had no clue that black folks worked in the building, because all you see is a particular culture. And that culture is a very close knit culture. They really protect each other, even if they're foul. Because I got a friend of mine who's part of that culture. I got family members who are part of that culture. Even if it's ratchet, if it's foul, they will support each other to the nines. Is that good or that bad? It's not me. I'm not a person. There's just stuff that I'm not going to support. I don't care if you black. I don't care. I don't. If you ratchet, you just ratchet. And I really normally don't want to deal with ratchet people, whatever culture you are. I just don't. Um, Even if you're family, I don't want to deal with my ratchet family. That's why I don't deal with them. Um, so me and the guy who were in really good on this lady's team, he had come over and was talking to us, and I know that there were some job openings. I had asked about the job openings, and this man and him were the same culture. I was not. So I noticed the look he gave me when I had asked about it, and I was like, okay. So the little supervisor we had, which was also part of the culture of their culture, she was never there. The baby had issues. I got along with her fine, but the baby was never there. Why they made her a supervisor, I don't know. Because this is her second time working at the company. She left because she got mad because she said they were bullying her because she wanted to be a supervisor, and they told her she wouldn't be a supervisor because she had attendance issues. Well, you do have attendance issues. Even as my supervisor, the girl was she just up and leave 2 3 hour lunches, baby. She was different. She's 23 years old though. I know I'm drinking from a jar. I live alone. I'm drinking tart cherry juice. Good for inflammation, good for gout, good for the joints. So, um, I asked some questions. The next thing I know, I guess it put me on his radar. And he monitored one of my calls. Now you're a manager. A manager shouldn't really be monitoring my calls. Who should be monitoring my call is supervisor. So we got surveys. I had an old black guy. Really, the call was a great call. Old black guy, and he's like, "Oh man, you really helped me." Blah 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 blah. He's like, "Can you put me through the survey afterwards?" I said, "Absolutely." Put him through the survey, and he's old. He gave me a 1, and yes, it's very good for you, Delphi. Very very good. He gave if you have gout and it starts acting up, I find that the tart cherry juice is better than the medicine they give you. It is much better than medicine. It cleans everything out. You're gonna go to the bathroom though. It will make you go potty, but it's cleaning out what it needs to clean out. Tart cherry juice is very good for you. Um, the old man accidentally he put a 1 instead of a 5 for the rating. 1 is bad, 5 is good, but I think he's thinking number 1. So next thing I know, I'm in this acting manager's office and he's monitoring the call and he's like, "Well, you can tell them that it's to give you, that a 5 is a top rating." And I'm thinking, when do I tell people what to rate? I've never had been told that. So I thought he was pulling me in because I had an escalated call and the lady was cray cray, and I handled it as I was instructed under a previous supervisor that when you have somebody she couldn't verify the account, I'm asking her for one thing. She's going all around the tree and so fine. I just said, "No, ma'am," because she was going to say, "Well, can I ask this question?" I said, "Ma'am, you haven't verified the account. We're not going to go and repeat the same thing. No, ma'am. Let me go ahead and explain what I'm needing to verify your account." "Well, oh, you were argumentative." Did I raise my voice? I didn't raise my voice. I said, "No, ma'am," and explained. And then she asked for a supervisor. That's her being upset. She could not verify her account. This lady was all, "I'm asking you for a government number. You're giving me Aetna's number." I'm not Aetna. I'm not Aetna, ma'am. I'm not Aetna. I'm not asking for that information. And the way she came on, you could tell, all the Cheerios went in the box. So he put it as argumentative, and then he gonna tell me they're gonna put me on a 12-month warning. Let me help y'all. I had never been absent. I hadn't been late. I didn't have any attendance issues. My survey and scores were very good. Always rated very well, even with the QA group. No behavioral issues. Never talked to customers crazy. Handled all my stuff. I even had been called a nigga B by customers. Was just calm, just like I was with this lady. And then he gonna pull me in about she got under your skin. Tell me she got a the hell is wrong with you? And I'm like, okay. I said, wait a minute. And then he gonna tell me some policy. I said, what policy are you talking about? You went from a person with absolutely no corrective action. I don't have attendance issues. I don't have performance issues. That's now the other dude who is part of his culture, who used to walk out with me at night. He said, "I don't care." He said, "We can be racist too," and that's exactly what it is. Either that or it was an intimidation thing. I don't know because I had finally uploaded my resume. I don't know because I'm sure this dude, I don't know what his background is. A lot of the people that they had put in positions there, they did not, a lot of them didn't have degrees. Some of them didn't, quite a few. A lot of them were family. A lot of them are the same culture. And was kind of like I was going to be in my place. But he did me a favor, and also, I believe the Lord worked through this. I'm going to build up on this, and then we're going to come back to some of this other issues. So he actually did me a favor, and I had been praying. So I was like, Lord, what's my next move? I wanted to make sure I was walking the course that I was supposed to walk. Now, let me back up a little bit. When I first got to this company, I ran into a girl I had worked with at United Healthcare, and she's Black. And she actually was one of my coaches at United Healthcare in claims. I wasn't at United Healthcare long because United Healthcare and Aetna's offer came kind of hand in hand. United came first, then Aetna, but Aetna was starting from the ground up with the Affordable Care Act, and I was really interested. There was a lot of growth opportunity. I was a big proponent for the Affordable Care Act. I still am. Um, I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's needed in our country. And I think there's plenty of people. Granted, I probably can't get it if I ever needed it, because it seems like anytime I would need something, I can't. Everybody else and their mama can get it. I got friends who know how to work the system, family members too, and they can get it. I can't. I can't get help when if I need it. Anyway, back to it. So, at this point, he's gonna tell me he'll put me on a 12-month thing. So I reach out to HR, and the people in control. But at the same time, because all this was happening, I was like, okay, Laura, what are you telling me? My associate who had worked there, she said, Shannon, I'm going to be, I got some job offers and I'm going to be working here, plus these other two companies, and she's working in some money. She said, but if this other company comes in, I'm going to go with them. And I was like, okay. So she was off and on, coming to work off and on. And she said, I'm going to send you some stuff. So she sent me information on the company she originally went to and the company she's at now that I'm now at. She doesn't know I'm there yet. We'll get into that later. So, because she still had associations with people at the company I just resigned from. And I didn't want it leaking quite yet that I was resigning, and I didn't want them leaking that I was working at another place, because I've been at this other place for over 30 days. I've started with them October 30th. I've been with them since then. So, the company I was at, their contract, and they did not give you your vacation for one full year. So my vacation date was going to be September 17th. September 17th? Yep, September 17th was my vacation date. And that's when I would get all my earned 80 hours of vacation. Plus, because I had perfect attendance, I had over 80 hours of what they call ETO, which is emergency time off. That's non-paid. So right there, that's 160 hours. That's a whole month, okay? So we were also getting ready to hit what they call open enrollment, and that was going to require mandatory days that you'd have to work. In addition, since I got through all of the month of October, they were going to owe me a bonus, okay, for $150. Because if you worked all the days and didn't take any time, you didn't lose a certain number of hours, then at that point in time, you get this $450 bonus. So you got my 450, you got my 80 hours of vacation time, plus whatever I have worked. I want it all. I want all that money before I do this, and I don't trust y'all because how you dealt with this is sketch. Is it buffering? Anybody else having anybody else having issues? Because everything else seems good on here. On my end, it seems good. Everybody else okay? Let Flatbed know you. Okay, good. Okay. Flatbed, you may have to restart your phone. Um, so at this point, dude, he does this little thing where all of a sudden out the clear blue. Now, don't get me wrong, I think he was also mad at the supervisor I had, because there was another dude on the team. He was really good, and before my issue, he all I know is he picked his crap. He went in his office, picked his crap up, and left. And they said, I called him Honey. My nickname was Honey Bun Boy. He said Honey Bun Boy quit. Now, Honey Boy Bun was part of their culture. But Honey Bun Boy did have a side gig on the job on the side, so he was doing a side gig, and he would just take ATO whatever. And ATO is like time off approved time off, but you don't get paid for it. So I don't know all of what transpired, but whatever dude said in his office pissed him off. And then I was the next one on the list, and I was like, I don't know what's up with this boy. And I mean, I took it all the way up and never heard back from HR. Came back, oh, the 12-month was approved. Oh, okay. And I wrote a full rebuttal. And then at that point in time, I start putting my things, because I was done. Because at this point, I'm not going to sit here which you have. I mean, if y'all would see some of the people in there, Linda's working there now, and she said everything you said was ratchet. If you ratchet, them as the folks they like to promote. Let's just say the world is different. The more ratchet you are, the more promotable you are at that company. And again, it was families, generations of this particular culture up in there, and that's fine. I hey, go for it. If you in a position to help y'all people, you do you, boo boo. Um, but I also knew that culturally it was not, I think, inclusive for someone like me. Okay. There were a few of us sprinkled who had some positions. One of the lady in HR, I think she was either, she might have been black and mixed with something, or she might have just been black. Because sometimes it's hard to tell culturally with some of the cultures because they have darker skinned people like us. So at this point, I start getting my paper out there, and one of the places that my associate who had worked there, well, she left. She left before me. So once she got on with the company I'm at currently, she was like, "Shannon, I'm leaving." So she didn't, and you don't have to give a 2 week notice because they fire people and hire them right. The company's ratchet. Linda said half, almost, she went in her class and she said, Shannon, 90% of her class were people that were rehires. I said, absolutely. And a lot of them were fired. Yeah. And they hire them right back. They either fired, quit, whatever, and they hire them right back. Matter of fact, they might call them and say, hey, it's going to be open enrollment. And if you're not working, we need people. And they hire them back. And those people may or may not stay. Some people, the girl who preferred me, they've been there 20 years. I don't know how she done it, but she's been there 20 years. Um, And it's not get. I told Linda it is not a hard job. It's you'll make $17 an hour walking in the door. It ain't a hard job. It's easy job. But again, nowadays 17 is not a lot of money because I'm making $5 more than, well, way more than that. No, $6, $7 more than that because I went up higher when I went dual. So, but starting walking in the door is about 17 bucks an hour. Now Linda's getting ready to become dual, so she'll be where I was at, which will help her. But she said, Shannon, is I said, I told you that job is easy. You sit for if you once it goes past 6:30, you twiddling your thumbs. If you and they're 24/7. So if you come in, if you smart, start in the afternoon, sometime late in the afternoon, and then like I was working 3:30 to midnight, 3:30 to 6 for 3 hours, I was busy. After that, grandma and grandpa went to bed. And then I was sitting there, we talking about anything, or at the time when we could read, I'd be on there reading. And when the old girl was my little supervisor, I could send my homework to her. I'd send pictures of the Bible and I would read and be able to do some of my homework there at the desk because she would send it to me via email as long as your supervisor approved. But anyway, neither here nor there. So when he pulled this out the crack of his butt, I was like, oh, okay. So I put my resume out there. The company that old girl told me about, they called. Though they didn't call. They sent a message and they asked me, I had to do a test and then I had to do a video interview where I recorded myself answering these questions. That's totally different. But for me, that works because y'all, I talk to y'all and being on camera don't really bother me. I'm just going to be me. So I did the video interview, sent it. Wasn't sure anybody would read it. And then they came back talking about, we want to talk to you about a job offer. Okay. So job paid 20 just under $23 an hour, so around $23 an hour. Not bad at all. It did require me to get my insurance license, so I had to get a what's called a claims adjuster's license. And you had to pass this test. You got 3 attempts to pass it. I passed in the first attempt. You had to get at least a 70. And praise God, I got a 90. And at this point, I took with the y'all want to put me on 12-month written. When y'all got all these ratchet people, that's fine. Y'all do your righteousness. I'm gonna trust God, and that's really what it was. Because I was asking Lord, and the only reason I was looking at other positions was to make more money, because I now have a car payment, insurance is higher, the rent went up, and I was like, a little more money would help. Was I surviving? Yeah, I was surviving, but a little more money would help me stabilize. Put in for this, and like I said, everything I think happens for a reason. Um, This is not, it's a very big insurance company. It's one of the top insurance companies in the nation. I've had their insurance. I want to get their insurance again for little man Hulk. I'm gonna reach out again and see if I can get it for him now. Um anyway, back to it. So end up talking to the recruiter lady. She asked some questions, told me about the job. sent me the offer acceptance letter, told me the start date. I knew for almost a month and a half I had this job. Okay. And the only thing, I'm just keeping it on the deal, and I'm waiting for the vacation to hit because once the job was supposed to start October 30th, I would have my vacation time September 17th. But also in the month of October, we started at the old job, the mandatory days that I was supposed to be there, and the bonus structure for what they call open enrollment. I did the whole month of October up to October 30th, and the bonus cut off not October 30th, that Friday before the 30th. I forgot what Friday that was. It cut off then. So like 27th or whatever. Yeah, 27th. Yeah, like 27th, 26th. So it cut off there. So I would get that 450 bonus plus whatever I had worked. Hey, rolling with Big O. What's up, baby? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because God is good. So what ended up happening, and welcome to the channel, Big O. I ended up knowing that I was going to train for this other job, but I also wanted to make sure that I had passed this licensure because I didn't know much about the licensure. I had reached out because she doesn't know I'm there yet, but I had asked her questions because she said, hey, she's telling me about the company, and everything she's telling me reminded me of working. The two best companies I ever worked for were Charles Schwab and Chase Manhattan, not JP Morgan. So I worked for the original Chase company, not the JP Morgan side. Those are probably the top two companies I've ever worked for. I'm not gonna. One thing I liked about Chase kept it real. I mean, Schwab kept it real. There's companies you work for that are just crap, and that's honesty. There are companies that you work for that you get in, it was a job, it paid the bills. That's what it did, but it didn't feel like a career, nor did they treat you like it was a career type job. Okay. Or you had, and for us as African Americans and or minorities, sometimes you hit what's called a glass ceiling, which I had happen to me at Verizon when I was there. I liked Verizon up to a certain point, but once I started, we originally, when I came in, there was a black guy who was in charge of that center. He was in an acting role, and as soon as everything started becoming solidified, they sent him to Georgia. I want y'all to catch that. They sent him to Georgia, and they brought a white dude in here to Arizona. And that white dude brought all his white management with him. I'm going to tell you, the whole thing changed. And I was acting soup, and it did not work out well. So I'll just leave it there. And then I went into trucking because it was such a horrible experience. I was like burnt out on corporate America. That's just how bad the experience was. Okay. So, and that's facts. I'm not being mean. I'm not being evil. And I don't know anybody. It's funny because Trucker Bill's sister, so Linda, not the Linda I talk about, but Linda Trucker Bill, the one I told you about when I went to Trucker. His sister was an executive VP here in Arizona for a company called Sun American Securities. They are a division of AIG. And if y'all know who AIG is, y'all have to look that up. So it's a big company. Linda had traveled all over the world, six-figure salary, was very well known in the black executive world. I didn't know how well known she was until I had talked to another person because I used to go to AME. You got a lot of the educated blacks here at AMEs. And one of the other ladies, she said, "Oh, I know." She said, "I know of her." She said she's very well known. So Linda had a reputation. Linda was cold. That baby was smart as a whip. She didn't, and humble, very humble. She had degrees, and her degrees were sitting in her because I've house set for her when she went to Europe. Her degrees were sitting on the floor in the closet. I said, "Linda, why don't you hang it up?" She said, "Girl, it's just paper." I'm like, it was just really bizarre to me. But I respected her because of educated people. She was the most down to earth people I know. Like, I love my aunt, but my aunt always tells you she's educated. Linda never really did that. She just, matter of fact, she's the one who brought the Bill Pickett rodeo here. And when you went to her house, when they came in, when she set it up, all the rodeo folks was there, the cowboys that came with boots on, and just a humble chick. I'm like, this sister is so down to earth. She passed away when I first went into trucking, but that's how I met Trucker Bill because that's her brother-in-law. So, needless here to there, but when you deal with people and those people leave footprints, Linda left footprints not only as a friend, but also as a businesswoman, and seeing She said, "You think that because I got them degrees, I haven't been through what you've been through?" Because I had been through some stuff at Verizon, and she was one of the people that helped to tell me steps to take. And she said, "Girl, bye." She said, "One of the reasons I've gone into teaching is because some things happen in the corporate arena for me. I hit the glass ceiling, and the glass ceiling is this is where we gonna let you get, and you ain't getting no further. And that glass ceiling can come for anybody at any level." So whatever it is, because they don't want you to get any further for whatever their reasons are. It could be intimidation because of it could be race, it could be intelligence, it could be they're scared of you. I'll tell you a story here in a minute. So after this incident happened at the company, the old company, the new supervisor I got, because the other girl, she was a supervisor who was never there. She wanted to go back to being a rep, which wasn't really the case. They were threatening to let her go, and so she went back to being a rep. But and actually she went out for leave for a while. Then she went back to being a rep. Um, so the guy that I got, I had been working with him off and on, and I knew him. We got along great. And he said to me, he says, "Shannon, I don't really see this being a 12-month." I said, "That's what this dude gonna do." He's like, "Well, between me and you, he's in acting." I'm like, "Well, that's what he's gonna do." So later in a team meeting, because they did put me on this guy's team, he told a story. Y'all. And I told you I've been praying, "Lord, show me what I'm supposed to do." So I'm hopping the story a little bit. I'm going to get back to the new company in a minute. We're in this team meeting. This is the old company, the government health insurance company. And he's telling people, "Hey, I know that there are some positions opening up. And if you go for those, there's going to be this question assessment." And I'm like looking at him. And he goes, he says, "I know some of you may have heard of the trolley train question." Now, I am 55 years old. I've been working since I was 16. Yep, I started working for the city of Tempe at age 16. I worked since I was 16 years old. I've worked for some pretty big companies. Pretty big companies. I worked for Sprint. I worked for Chase. I worked for Schwab. I worked for B of A for a minute, Wells Fargo. I worked for some pretty big companies. I ain't never heard of this question before. However, I have some people when I was from the University of Phoenix, one of the ladies I knew from management, she had heard of it. And another girl who worked with me at University of Phoenix, she said she heard of it. I was like, "I never heard of this. This is the craziest question I've ever heard in my life." He proceeds to say, "Have you ever heard of the trolley train question and the coworker question?" Clutch the pearls, y'all, because he was getting ready to get deep. And then it made sense on why baby boy did what he did. He says, "Well, one of the questions you might get," he says, "they're going to eventually maybe change it," which they should, because it's demonic, it's totally demonic and crazy as hell. He says, you're at a switch for a train track, and you realize that if you don't switch the track, you're going to kill five. The train will, no, not you. The train will kill five people. But if you switch the track, it'll only kill one. What do you do? I said, "Wait a minute, I'm lost. Are you saying this is an assessment question for a job here at this company?" He was like, "Yeah, for their upper positions, for like going into their training and their management," which is what I was looking at. I would have been at that point in time. I would have been a no for me, because to me that is demented. Now, obviously, the logical question is you switch the track, and you don't kill the five people, you kill the one. But either one, no action is action, because you're either way you're guilty, because you're able to prevent killing five people opposed to one. But who would use that as a scenario for a job? I'm like, in a corporate job? That's weird. He says the second one. He says the other one is you're on a ledge, and your coworker is bigger than you, meaning heavy, like myself, right? And he says, and there's a truck or whatever going by, and you realize that if you don't stop the truck, that it's going to kill XYZ number of people at the bottom. Should you push your coworker off the ledge? And if you push your coworker off the ledge, them being hit by the truck will prevent it from killing all other people below. I said, wow, 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 wow. No, this is the assessment for you to even get possibly into an interview. It's crazy. Delphi? Cra- Crazy as hell. I had never heard of it. I was like, is this dude jacking with us? But then I reached out, and so I was sharing it with my private prayer team. On my private prayer team, one of the ladies I know on there was a supervisor at University of Phoenix. Actually, she's the one that requested me to the special. They had like a special division at University of Phoenix, special projects, and she requested me. So she's Christian and she's on my prayer team. Another girl that I know who is she's not Christian, she's Buddhist, but we're friends, and we were on two teams together. And so she was like, Shannon, I've heard of it. She says it's a logic question. I said, I realize. I said, but it's schizo. You sound like a lawyer. The questions are not. No, it then answered the question. So throwing somebody under the bus is a plus in that company. Being that cutthroat is a plus. So I'm going to get you out the way because and I can push you out there under the bus. I was like, okay, that told me all I needed to know, which solidified, oh, you did the right move by going ahead and accepting this other offer, because I had accepted the offer at this point. Flatbed, I ain't never heard of it either, but two people I know who have. Um, and one of them was a lot older than me. She just hit her 60s, her mid 60s, and she managed at University of Phoenix. Plus, has had other management careers in big companies, and she's heard of it. Rolling with Big O. All right, Big O. He said company success. Yeah, but throwing when you that almost reminds me of being postal. And my thing is, for a corporate job, when you're talking about pushing your coworker off of a ledge, when you're talking about switching tracks and doing something very demented, I think there's a better way to look for talent that makes good judgment calls, and not life or death judgment calls, to where it just was a very demented way. And it was funny because the lady I know who said she has heard of it, who's got years of management, she said, I told when it first came out that this was a measure they were going to use, I told them I would have no part of it. And because they were going to use this in some of, I guess, their job screening process, she said I was not going to have any part of it. But she said she'd heard of it. And then my other associate said she had heard of it, and she said, "Oh, it's a logic question." I get the logic, but I get the logic of no action is action. But it's yeah. It's there's other Roland. There's other things. There's other questions that you can ask to see a person's decision making capability. Going to that extreme, it almost seems, are you looking for somebody who's sociopathic? Are you looking for somebody who's crazy? Are you looking for somebody who's going to be postal? And are you really wanting somebody who's that cutthroat? And that's really what it told me. And based on what I had also experienced in that office and what was transpiring, that's kind of what I saw. Um, it then explained some of the behavior that I had experienced from that guy. Correct. That's exactly what I picked up, Flatbed, when he said it. And I was like, whoa, because I didn't know this is part of people being a trainer. This is part of their management. This is questions that go to them. It wasn't an entry level question. This is once you decide to start moving within the ranks of this company. I was like, oh yeah, that right there. I'm take me off the board. And it was fine, because what it did for me is it answered what I was praying about. Lord, what direction I go? I was looking at training or one of their supervisors, because honestly, I'm looking at their and I'm like, the training wasn't hard. Training, they make the trainings follow a script the same way we had to follow a script in a call. The supervisors, let me tell you at the end what my supervisor was doing. So they switched us. They had to break us up because the chick we had went back to whatever being a rep, and she was on leave. So they broke us up between two teams. And the one guy, I liked him. The guy I had that I had before I was switched to another guy right before I left out for my 30 days vacation. and and I knew who he was because he had been the original supervisor I dealt with when we were in training, the one who had recommended that I put in for training after 6 months of being there, to be a trainer. And so, but before him was this other dude. So right around the time they started bringing in open enrollment, this is how, I hate to say, ghetto they are. And what they hired, they making the supervisors walk the floor. I'm like, why? You hire people to do their job. You should be able to look at the statistics and what's on your screen to see that the people are doing their job. If they're not, then you have a conversation. You have a come to Jesus meeting. It's not hard. But they got them, and then they had them filling out a table. This is their way of managing, which was schizo and micromanagement in its own way. Filling out a table, and they gave them a pedometer, and they had to walk all the floors and enter in what the pedometer. I said, bro, are you carrying what I think you're? He said, yeah, we have to walk. I told Linda. Linda said, that's because they need something to do. I said, girl, right, Rolling? I was like, bro, he had to walk. This building was 3 stories. And you got to walk all the floors. And wherever there were people were, you had to walk down all the aisles and have your pedometer at the end. They made them put in whatever the numbers of pedometer was. Yeah, I guess that $25 an hour is worth it. I don't know. I don't. Well, they were salaries, so whatever you getting, I guess that's worth it. I was like, thank you, Lord, because the other way I came in, we were as soon as I walked in. So I walk with a cane uh, now, and so I walk with a cane quite often. And when I got into the new company, orientation day, very organized, extremely organized. I haven't seen the level of organization since I worked for Chase or Schwab. Just very well, the communication, very well organized. Delphi, I'm telling you. But this new company, I'm talking the new company, the old one's on the back burner. I'll get to that later. So the new company, day I get in, a man comes up to me and he sees me with my cane and he says, he says, we're giving you equipment today. He says, when we give you that equipment, remind me to give you a special bag so you can carry your stuff out. Because I'm at the cane. Very attentive, very personable, very kind. I'm slower in my walking than other folks. So I'm walking because they had us walk, we met in one building, and then we had to walk to the other building, which was further down. And so I'm walking, and so one of the supervisors, he came back, he started talking to me. I forgot, he's Italian, and he was so cool, just as nice. He's like, yeah, I quit. He said, and here I am back here again. He said, the grass ain't always greener at another company. And I started laughing. And he said, the other company was giving me more money. He says, but nah, he said, they treat you better here. And I was like, okay, he's just talking just as cool as he wanted to be. And he said, you might be on my team. You might end up on my team, yada, yada, yada. So he's going on and on. And then we stopped because my knee was kicking. And then we stopped and waited for a minute. Then we went to the building. I said, I just need to give it a minute. I said, I didn't know y'all. I would have walked parked down here, but we didn't know. Our check-in was one location. And then because they were hiring so many people, the classes were in, they have like, I think 2 or 3 buildings at this location. Um, so the building, and my doctor's office is right there. My former doctor, I got to get a new doctor. My doctor's office is right there. So I'm familiar with the area. And one of the other companies I worked for, but I never worked in their offices because I was working from home at the time. They're there. So I was like, I knew the area. I'm a native of Tempe because it's in Tempe. So I'm a native Tempe. It's right there off the water. So we walk down, we go up, and just everything was like, they gave us our laptops. We set up our computers. They say, y'all go home. They let us go home early, paid us for the day. So we take the computers home and get set up on a computer. And then the next day we hopped on with our class. And then we were with our trainers. My 2 trainers are 2 black guys out of Dallas. The class had 44 people in there. We have less now. So because folks, it's a new generation of human. They don't know how to do their job, or they want to do their job. And a few people did not pass the test. So they gave them their 3 opportunities. And on the 3rd opportunity, they were separated, unfortunately. And some people, it's like one girl, I don't understand. And I need to understand. Somebody help me. So we had we studied for one whole week. We were put in a course by a company called Kaplan. Kaplan did our insurance training uh, for all of our adjusters license for a whole week. Okay, at the end of the week, we had the weekend. Well, luckily enough, the person who told me about the job initially, and she's in a different claims department than me because I'm in claims. There's like different levels of claims, so I'm a level above her, so she's a level beneath me, and they just hired you into whatever claims department they felt your interview skills and your background would fit. So I ended up in the one above hers. I thought I wanted to be where she is. Her department's 24/7. Mine is not. Mine is mainly business hours, and hers 24/7. And we get holidays. Oh, in my department. Praise Jesus. And getting old, so that's a beautiful thing. So at this point, when we got there, they gave us all our stuff. They gave us our equipment. It was, like I said, it was so well handled. And the organization was absolutely amazing. And very personable. Now I have one lady there. I think she has some issues with me, but I don't think it's about my ethnicity. I think it's about my weight. Some people, they are what I call weightish. Like, if racist, you got people who don't like fat people. They see you in a certain light. They don't understand maybe some of the underlying things to obesity. Some stuff, yeah. Some folks just lazy. Some have eating disorders. I'm probably gonna say that. Some is psychological. I probably will say some of that. Some is hereditary. I'm definitely gonna be on that page. So I kind of fall in some ball words, and some is physical, based on some health issues. I'm gonna say that because of the whole hysterectomy, the whole hormones being off. Because, like I said, after that hysterectomy, I blew up. Um, and it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a culmination of things, but it's something I'm getting ready to have to address. Point blank. Period. So, and the money now might help address it, because if I do the weight loss surgery, I'm gonna have to probably come about 10 plus out of my pocket, 10 grand, because the insurance only covers so much. Anyway, back to it. So, as we're sitting there and everything is going really, really well. I'm impressed with the company. I'm impressed. They even have a historian that tells you about this company, and I'm like, whoa. I known of the company. I didn't know the history of the company. Like, I didn't know that the original second in command of the company, even back then, was a female, which was impressive. I'm impressed with the diversity. That's another thing. The number of women of all cultures in different positions of management was also impressive. And just some of it, like I said, it reminded me very much of a Schwab and a Chase. There was a level of just forthrightness. I'm not going to say you're going to get 100% truth, but there's a level that when you can tell a genuineness in a company, and when you're looking at a bunch of people that are just politically fake. And then you got the other ones who are just like this other one I came from. You got a bunch of a-holes. God forgive me, I'm just going to say that. It's just what it is. Facts. So this right here is almost a $5 pay increase from what I was making. What was my prayer to the Lord? Lord, I need more money. And Lord, show me where to go. And I was thinking it was going to be there at that company I was at, because the job was relatively simple. It's an easy job. You really don't have to be intelligent to do the job I did. In fact, every response you have to a customer is scripted. You just read what it says. That's what it was. It didn't really require, God forgive me, a lot of intelligence. And I'm not trying to be mean. It really just didn't. Um, you read, they come in, everything's the same, and you directed them to places, or you read a script to them. That was it. It didn't, the most intelligence you know is how to look something up and read it to them. That was it. It wasn't a lot. And like I said, I come in at 3:30. If I took 10 calls between 3:30 and 6:30, I was busy. After that, if I took 5 calls from 6:30 to midnight, that was busy. Because other than that, it was usually dead. I would go hours without a call, and they'd pay me what they paid me to absolutely do nothing but sit in a chair, which for my type of brain is not really good. But I was like, okay, it's an easy job. It's a paycheck until a situation happened. And sometimes those things God does and either does commands or allows those things to push you out of the nest to make you take a move. Because otherwise, I was just sitting there. And this job had come up via the girl that I knew, via Indeed, and then another conversation with her after this situation happened. And then they also, like I said, they sent me stuff saying, "Hey, we saw your resume on Indeed," and I'm like, "Okay, this is weird. It came up again." So when I applied and everything smoothly went, and then we did the test. It's been about 3 weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we did the test, and I was like, "I need to understand." Now, granted, we weren't allowed to take notes. We weren't. They had what they called crash sheets or cram sheets. They wouldn't let us take those. We couldn't print any of it off. You could take notes on the side written, but you couldn't print. You can't print any of it. Everything you did was on the system, right? I don't know, that to me was kind of crazy. But because my associate told me there was YouTube University, y'all. YouTube University. There's a lady on here called the Insurance Exam Queen. She used to teach for companies like a Kaplan. They weren't Kaplan, but it was similar too. And she worked here in Arizona at USAA, and there's something with claims with them. So she eventually became a claims instructor for one of these teaching schools and went around the country teaching people insurance. So sure enough, the whole weekend I binged her videos. Everything that I had made note of that I knew I needed to know. I sat there and I watched that lady's videos from beginning to end. Playlists, raking notes, writing. I get in there, it's the day of the test, and one of the girls in there, we gonna do the test in the afternoon. She's like, "Yeah, I was stressed. I just decided to go shopping, and that's why you didn't pass." She didn't pass. God forgive, but I just something's not right with people. I'm like, wait a minute. Your solution to possible employment, which this company's paying some pretty good money coming in the door. Their benefits are beyond. I haven't seen benefits like this since Charles Schwab. And this is the first company I've ever worked for that had a pension. These people have a pension they're paying in as soon as you walk your butt in the door. So day one, you're paying for your pension. Your 401k comes out, they have you set up to come out the first check. They have their own credit union. I'm like, okay. Insurance benefits on hit. I haven't had my life insurance. I just did to set up all my beneficiaries. I haven't seen big life insurance numbers like this. Usually 10, 20,000 to put you in the ground. We talk $100,000 policies and for their employees. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this in a minute. So I'm hoping if the rapture don't happen before I croak, or before I get to retirement, this is it. I'm hoping this is it because I'm so far, and like I said, it could be the honeymoon stage, but I'm impressed. I don't know that and most of the people that have been there nine. Well, the shortest time was 9 years, but everybody we've been talking to, 20 plus years. They have relocated people, and a lot of them came from Michigan and Illinois. Some of them from Florida, and they relocated them. And yeah, so as I said, for those I know, and I not to knock people who are newer, for those I know in the background, I mean, and I've been talking to you for about a couple of years, like Truckerette had said she was gonna hit me up. If you hit me up in the background and tell me the state you're in, and I'll let you know. Because if you're looking for work from home, you can go on their site. I don't know. I know the states that they're in as far as centers. And if you're in a state where I know there's a center and I know that there's possible jobs, I recommend going on there and looking. I will not say the company here on this forum. I just don't believe in doing that. Because folks on the internet, some people are cool, some people are crazy as hell. So I'm good. That'd be like me giving my address. I'm not doing that. I'm going to set up a box because somebody on my Facebook, I wanted to get the pressure canner, and somebody was asking about that. Wendy, I don't think they're in Colorado. I'll check, and if they are, I'll text you. But I don't think they have a center in Colorado, and they're only letting you work in the states that they have call centers in. So if they have a center in or an office in, then yes. And I'm not talking about like their insurance offices. I'm talking about their main call centers. But I'll let you know. I'll look. Colorado's not one that I recall. I know here in Arizona, I know, I think they have one in Florida, if I remember correctly. And I think Illinois. I think. But I forgot where in Illinois. I'll look it up. But they would look, Arizona's probably their oh, Texas. They have one in Texas. Because remember, I have trainers teaching us out of Dallas. So they have them in Texas. Hold on, let me see what you say. Anyway, so the new company, I started back on October 30th. I am now a claims license adjuster. Now, the only thing I do not like about my new company, their licensing department is not the best. Not best in bad, but, and I understand they've hired a bunch of people, but they didn't explain things well. So to me, it sounded like when we came in the door, they would be handling all our registration for our license, because we got our license in one state, and then you have what they call reciprocity, which means the other states will license you because you got a license in this state. Well, that has been a little bit of a conundrum, because the way they made it seem, they were taking care of everything. And then I sent on an email, because the trainer I had, he's like, oh, he's telling other people, oh, y'all be fine. The licensing will take care of that. Well, I'm sitting on this thing that I was supposed to take care of. I had got it on the 22nd. And I sat on it for almost a week. And then another guy said, hey, are we supposed to be doing some of these emails? I'm getting this email. And I'm like, well, heck, I got mine, way back on. And I could have been ahead of the game. So now, right now, I've been going back and forth with a particular state on getting documents in. One was the certificate showing I passed from Kaplan. That was supposed to go to them. And I guess Kaplan was supposed to send it. They didn't send it. So then the company I work for is supposed to say, oh, we paid and we did this, this, and this, but I don't know what okay. So now I'm uploading my certificate. And so I'm realizing, I'm like, okay, y'all need to just tell me that whatever the state is asking for that y'all registered in, if I got the information, I just need to upload it and send it to them, because obviously y'all ain't doing it, because somebody dropping the ball in the kitchen. Whew. So anyway, so right now they're doing all our license. So they did fingerprints, they did all that. But yeah, I know that somebody told me that you could become an independent claims adjuster, and I think one of the young ladies who's a trucker I know right now, she's been looking at studying here to try to pass one here for Arizona, and she said she had seen this couple talking about it, and they were making over 100K a year. So I guess you could contract yourself out to the different insurance companies. Am I going to do that or not? Obviously, I cannot do that. It would be a conflict of interest in the role I'm in now. I don't know if I want to take that risk right now, because that would mean being independent, and then also having to, try to have my own health insurance, all of that. I'd have to weigh out what that cost looks like to me. At this age, I'm okay with being with the company. The pay is not bad at all. It's actually quite good. I'm not a Rolls Royce and a big house kind of person. Honestly, what I would like right now is a piece of land and a tiny home, and probably a couple tiny homes, to hire somebody to come onto the land and to help me work it, because I'm not in the shape to do it all by myself right now. And as I'm getting older, that starts going more and more out the window. I don't care if you're skinny or not, your body does not, because I look at Joe, and Joe is 63, 60. He's between 63 and 65. Or is he older? He's six. I think he's close to 60. No, he's 65, 67. So I've just seen how, even he's a thin dude and he doesn't move like he does. He drives slow now. I've noticed, I see the age has come on him. Memory stuff, not memory Alzheimer's, but just even remember stuff we did. Like, oh, we went to that restaurant, Shannon. Yeah, it's not there anymore. I know he's tired. He's sleepy more, and the same is happening to me, because like I am sometimes I am sleepy as hell. We ain't gonna be here too much longer, and I'm sleepy because it's 73 minutes. But sometimes I'm sleepy, and I've noticed I'm tired more. And I notice, and granted, the weight is a part of it, but I also know age is another part of it. I'm just not where I once was. Let's put it like that. I got to be off here because I do have some homework to do tonight, but I wanted to chat. But so I did give my notice. So I used up every ounce of time I had. I got all the money that I was supposed to be my money. Um, I made sure they got all my checks done. I only went in to fill out the time card so that they pay me for what I was due. I stopped going in and doing the time cards a week ago, almost a week ago. So Friday, was it Friday? When did he send me the notice? Wednesday, he sent me, and he tried to call, and then he sent me an email saying, "Hey," because I actually even used up all sick time because my attendance was good, and you can use up to 64, I think 64 or 66 hours before they terminate you. I used up to 62. And I called out sick. He says, well, I'm just calling to let you know you're at 62 hours. And if you go, XYZ number of days, then it would be termination from the company. I'm sending you things if you want to do a leave of absence. No, no, we're done. I've used up every ounce of what I wanted from y'all. And then I sent him an email, and I got to mail their headset back to them and their badge. And I'm going to mail that out probably this Friday coming up. I'll mail it to his attention. I said, Friday of next week, I'll mail to your attention the headset and the badge. And I want to thank you, thanks in my name. And that's, as of the date of this email, I'm resigned. I was done. His response pretty much back. This is a new supervisor, dude. He's like, he says, well, I hope you're well. That was it. It was done. So, no ill will. Linda's there right now. And it's funny because Joe asked me, he said, what do you think? She says everything Shannon described. These people are ratchet. I was like, yeah, pretty much. Again, it doesn't, you don't have to have, you don't have to be the smartest cookie in the box. It's a job. It puts it entry level, no experience. They even hire people from the homeless shelter. They advertise there. Yeah. So, it is what it is. It paid the bills, and it did that. And it gave me time to get Little Man Hulk, which thank God I got Little Man Hulk, because to get to this job, I would need a decent car, and Little Man Hulk affords me that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to get to the job. So what that gentleman did, sometimes we can look at it and be angry about it, or we can say, God, how are you in the details? And in the details, it was what I prayed for. I needed direction as to what to do. So I believe that where I'm at, prayerfully, is where I'm supposed to be in this season. But what led me kind of down, this was part of what I was going to talk about, was when Delphi had said that something's wrong with people. Exactly, Roland, exactly what happened. When you said something's wrong with people, it's funny because in this class that I'm in, so I'm pretty quiet, although I'm sarcastic and I'm a little OCD when I work, and I'm a workaholic. Well, I have work ethic, but I can be a workaholic, and that is inherited from my mother. Both of them had strong work ethic. Work ethic runs on both sides of my family when it comes to my two parents as well as my grandparents. Now, some of our other kinfolk, that's a whole nother cup of tea. But work ethic, I will say, it's very strong close to me. Extended out, like Monty had people who worked the system. They lived on welfare. But his mama, not so much. My grandmother was the help. She's cleaning people's houses and, did that and clean up behind white folks and stuff like that. So she did that. My mother's mother, she did that. Plus they had a restaurant. Plus then, when she got sick, some other things took place. She worked in education for a while. So these people, my grandfather, her father, he did cooler work. He put the coolers and air conditioners on buildings and did the duct work. So he hard labor, ran his own business. Monty's father was a dairy farmer, so he ran a dairy farm. That's hard labor. And then Monty ended up at the railroad. So you see, these people had work ethic. That's what I come from. Even though my mom was cray cray, the woman was a workaholic. But honestly, she worked. That's what she did. She was a workaholic. When Monty passed, that was one of the things they talked about was his work ethic, and that they wanted to work with him because of how diligent he was to stuff. And several of them were trained by him, was as far as the brakeman switchman part. So you see that. That's what when we went to the funeral, Joe says, I see where you got it from. He says, I always wondered because you work hard. He says, and I wonder where you got it from. He says, Sharon, you inherited that. So generational curses, there's also generational blessings. But at this company, and at the other one too, but at this, I'm trying to understand what's wrong with the 30 and unders. I really. So all of us are on Zoom, and they told us from the start, you will have to be on camera for your training. I don't have a problem with this. Y'all paying me almost $5 more an hour than what I was making at the other place. Y'all can have me on camera when I'm working. I don't really care. I'm sitting at that desk. on phones, either doing claims, inbound or outbound. I don't have a problem with this. We come into class. The man tells us the first day, I don't want y'all with the backgrounds, because I guess with the Zoom, you can put certain backgrounds up. Even if it's the company name logo backgrounds, I don't want that up. He said the most you can use is go ahead and blur your background. If you want to do that, we don't have a problem with that. We don't really care about your house. We just want to make sure you're working in a standard environment, because I guess and he explained, they've had people they hired in the past, and these wretched folks would put the laptop connected to their phone and be like a hotspot on their phone and go to the McDonald's drive-in while they was in training or working. I got nothing. So he tells them that. So they take it down. As soon as he leaves off the Zoom, they put it right back up. Or the next day, they've had it right back up. We got one dude. He says, look, and he talks, he comes back in again. This is the head over the training. This is the guy who gave me the bag. I didn't even know who he was, but he is the head over training. He manages all the trainings that are coming in. He was very personable and very cordial and always very nice to me. He's not asking much. He's not being a jerk. He's not being a dick. God forgive me, I'm just gonna put it like that. He's asking you to do. They're not asking you to do anything illegal. I work companies that ask you to do stupid stuff, and some of it ain't legal. He said, look. Hey, Truckerette, what's up, baby? He goes, look. If he said, for those of y'all who ain't got enough lighting, he said, we need to see you. We need to make sure you're in your home. Because again, going back, one dude come on screen, it's black. You can't see nothing. You don't see how it's just black. The whole screen black. You just see the outline of his face. You don't even barely see his face. You black and the room is black. So then another chick, when she come on, she makes sure the camera is only showing the top of her head. What's wrong with y'all? So he talks to them and he said, look, one girl, he said, look, you're going to have to do, I'm telling you, he ain't that black rolling, but it just ignorant. It's just, the baby ignorant. I met him in office and I could tell in office I wasn't going to like him. And again, I'm not in management anymore, but it's amazing to me what the companies are tolerating. And I guess it's because they're desperate for people, because me and him would have had a come to Jesus meeting, and the come to Jesus meeting would have been this. I've told you once, I told you twice, it's the third time, so I tell you what, go ahead and bring your stuff to the office. We're going to meet and have a conversation. I would tell them, leave your stuff here. We want to thank you for your time and good luck to you. But Arizona's a right to work state. They can let you go for any reason. And unfortunately, you just being a jerk. And as Joe, when I saw Joe about it, he said he's being blatantly, what's the word we want to use? I don't want to say disrespectful. There's another word for it. He said you're being blatantly, there's another word I'm thinking of, but it's almost like disrespectful, but it's where you are combating authority. So he tells him again. So he leaves out. Dude comes in next day, is defiant. That's it. But there's another, he basically is. There's another word for it, but that's around that realm. So he comes in the next day and it's black. So then we go to break. He comes on for a minute. We go to break. And so the trainer says, hey, so-and-so, I can't see you. I need to see you. He goes, I'm not feeling good and I'm eating something right now, so I'm just going to stay off camera. And that's what he does. Pretty much most of the time, his screen is black. And I'm like, why are you guys keeping this dude? He a-hole. And I'm insubordinate. That's it right there. That's the word we're looking for right there, Roland. Insubordinate. And I'm like, this dude right here. And I met this guy in office, who it is. And I met him and talked to him for a couple of minutes as we're getting our fingerprints. I didn't care for him. He's young. I would say he's under 30. He's probably between 20, somewhere probably between 23 and 30. And I think 30 is pushing it. I would say he's in his 20s. very insubordinate. Then the other girl, she only shows the top of her head, and that is a very defiant thing. It's just, I'm gonna be an a hole. It just I was like, I'm like, wow. It's you walking in the door brand new to a company. The people giving you dang good benefits. To me, they have not been disrespectful, at least on my level. I ain't seen nothing. They've been. It's a pretty dang good company. I haven't, like I said, I ain't worked in this level of good employment treatment in a while. And Schwab was in my 30s and Chase was in my 20s. So that tells you something. Most companies I've worked for, there's ratchet stuff coming in the door. There's stuff in the door. As soon as you come in the door, you see, but you might need a paycheck. So you stick it. You stick with it. This one right here, they've been around a long time. These guys did good during the Depression. They hiring right now where other insurance companies are laying off for what we're doing. And they're hiring, it was 200 in my group, in my wave. There's another 200, and I think they got one more coming in and they're going to cut it. That's how many people they hired. That says a lot. But granted, I also think based on what I have talked to some of the people who've been there, by the time it's over with, and based on what I'm seeing with behaviors, one of the trainers he said too. He said because he's going on vacation, so we have two trainers, and so other trainers have come in to cover him because he already had pre-planned vacation to go outside the country. Hold on, Roland, what you saying? I'm 32. A lot of us got that. They have no idea, and and I'm going to say, because a friend of mine asked me, because I have had some very good companies. Now, granted, I worked for Chase and then other opportunities opened up, but I worked for Chase Manhattan. Right before I left Chase, or excuse me, right after I left Chase, they merged with JP Morgan. So I left right before the merger, and that changed the cultural perspective of that company. That company changed quite a bit. Um, it ain't the same company. you know is not is what it was more customer focused opposed to money focused. Don't get me wrong, they had money, but it was a more customer focused company when I worked for it. It was that was kind of it was very, I won't even talk about the amount of money I wrote off based on situations. Because I was a dispute escalation supervisor there, and just to we wrote off a lot of money just to satisfy the customer and keep the customer. There were things we assessed to do that. Good company. It ain't like banking today. I personally, I like one of the reasons why Wells and Bank of America I didn't last at, because to me those companies are just taking the people and shaking coins out their pocket. They don't really give a dang about their customer, and that's something else that I like right now when we're doing claims. Granted, we're looking at the overall situation because the claim can be paid on either side or to both, but our thing is we take care of our customer first because our customer pays us. So we looking at their situation first. Then we take care of everybody else underneath there. I was like, that I like when you have that focus because that tells me if you care about them, you can care about me, because then y'all are first, you know. And that has been pretty much, and it said, like I said, it says something that the people that are there that have stick with it 20 plus years. Um, and we've talked to those people, even the trainers. One of them, he's 9 years, and the other one's over 20. I think he said 20 is his 27th year with the company, something like that. It was some large number. Um, but yeah, I'm in this class. I don't, and I could tell. And me and my, it's just like me and my nephew were talking. And he said he was doing some security guard work and was training another security guard. And the dude, he's like, yeah, man, when it's slow, you can come over here and look at the computer, and you can go to Google or YouTube or whatever, and you can, surf the web, read whatever, watch, YouTube videos. He came in, and the dude told me I got in trouble because I was on the computer. And the guy said, he said, no, man, you shouldn't be. My nephew, like, you should. He's like, well, they got mad because I had hooked up his PlayStation Xbox to the computer and was playing that and didn't see anything wrong with it. It's like they don't think something is wrong with the way they think. Something is really wrong with them. Something is really, really wrong with them. You know what, Tanya? I didn't think of it that way, but you very much. This young man is, I think he said he's Nigerian, although I think he's from here, but his background's Nigerian, and still, I consider them black. They may not consider themselves black because some Africans don't look at us in the same way, even though we're African descent. But him now, the other girl, she black. The other little black girl, she'll just top her head. She black, and they's like, oh, because I forgot where they was, kind of we did introductions and something about. She said that she was like, I don't know if an only child or something, and how it was about her, and that she was kind of the trouble, that she gonna do her. And I could tell basically I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I was like, ooh. And like I said, the man is telling you to be on. So every time we come in, and the trainer said, he said, yo, bro, we need you to be on camera. Well, something, and like he was supposed to be in office. I don't know if he said he got COVID. I don't know what he said, but he wasn't in office. He's still at his house. And they worked with him on you being at home, and you was black on the camera. And he's like, well, man, we need to have you on camera. Yeah, well, something. He said somebody. He said, "Well, I understand all that. You need to be on camera." He was on camera once he said it, and as soon as we came back from a break, the whole screen was black again. This dude, I was like, "How? Why are they keeping you? I don't know. Why are they keeping you? I don't know." And the chick with the top of her head, because as soon as she'll adjust it, as soon as they come in and say something, and then she'll put it right back up, and all you see is the top of her head. Oh, what is that? They just let one go. She was in our little training group, and I could tell something was up. And she wasn't African American. She's a different culture. But she was like, all of a sudden, she saw, I said, oh, we got a new person in the room. And the girl, I kind of knew something was up. And the next thing I know, she didn't want to kind of do the claim thing. Oh, ask the little, what we call, they're like coaches. Can you do a claim? Do it for me. And I could see it because I was out a few days. And she said, well, I did one first thing this morning. She said, so no, everybody needs to take their turn and we'll walk you through it. The group, and we're trying to help her through it and stuff. And she like hemming and hawing. So day one, she did that. Day two, she came back in, and the trainer, the little coach wanted her to do it because they broke us out into smaller groups. And we all quiet because the coach, I could tell, I was like, something is up, honey. And then they had a manager watching our little group. And I thought at first, I'm like, why is this woman in here so long? It's about this chick. She hemming and hawing. We go to a break, and she don't return from the break. So then our little trainer has to go, our little coach has to go talk to the trainers and some of management regarding the situation. Next thing I know, old girl next day, a little clear dot, which means you ain't there no more. I was like, ooh, you done missed time. You ain't supposed to miss time in training. Now, my fat butt, who ain't in the best shape, sometimes ain't felt good. Been there every day. Ain't been late. In communications. My power went out twice while we were work from home. And I said, I will come in that office if it goes out again. I don't know. They were doing something. They don't know why, but it flashed, knocked me off. I jumped back on. And that normally never happens. And all of a sudden he said, whoop. And next I'm on the line with APS. I'm sending a text message, email message to the manager of the training. This is what's going on. I'm working with APS. If it's not up, I'm coming into the office. I wasn't playing. Because I'm not trying to mess myself up. I'm sending him pictures of my interactions because my company will send you, the electric company will send you an alert. And like something had happened in the area. They didn't know what it was. They were investigating it. I was down for maybe 10, 15 minutes and then it was up. But I sent him the alert of it showing what they told me. I sent him the alert of what they told me when it came up. That way, I'm not making nothing up. I've got proof. I'm liking what I'm seeing about y'all. So I'm going to show you I'm being as honorable as I possibly can. So, but yeah, it's a different world. I don't know. It's like when I talked about the laundromat, and then I'm going to end this because we've been on here 93 minutes. I went in the laundromat Friday, and this little kid, he's 7, 8 years old, throwing a ball against the window. The ball bounced, and then it bounced and almost hit me, and it went under the table. And I'm looking at I grew up where my mama, you didn't kick balls in the house. You didn't throw balls. That was you did that outside. You did. My mom was not going to have me in a laundromat. Granted, we had laundry, but if we had to go to a laundromat or a public place, I wasn't throwing nothing and acting a plump. Ooh, wait, that cray woman would have beat the hell out of me. She'd take you in the bathroom and wear your tail out. And now these kids, they just, it's like, who the hell is wrong with y'all? And they not being raised. And mama, and I've seen it even with some of my associates. So like I have a friend of mine who ended up getting custody of his great nephews. He told his great nephew, go outside and sweep up them leaves and put it in the trash. This ninja goes and sweeps all the stuff behind this wall in the backyard and then goes back in and goes to his video games and cell phone. But my friend sees it. He's like, come out here. And I said, and he tells him what? Well, blah, blah, blah. And nobody will see it back there. He says, do you wipe your behind? He says, why do you do that? Nobody sees down there. Basically, do it the right way, right? And I said, did you make him go redo it? No, I did it. That's because you're dumb. Because Cray Cray that I had, she would have beat you and then made you go back out there and do it right. That's what's wrong. I got another friend of mine, love her dearly. She just told me her daughter came, her daughter grown, to put up the lights. Now my friend is older than me. She about 4 years older than me. Talking about she put them up backwards, so her and her other daughter had to go up there and redo them. No, I would have called the other one back. Come on back here. If you're gonna do something, you need to do it right. I'm this age. You supposed to be my child helping me out. Do that right. Redo them all. Why you back up on the ladder doing it? That's a rearing issue. That's a rearing issue. Something is wrong. And I don't know where that's come from. The titty in the mouth, do it for the kids. It's like I had one associate of mine, she called me, and I like her boys. Her boys are very good. So and so's laptop is down and something, and I was wondering if you could do their resume. Hell no, I'm not doing their resume. I said, why am I doing the resume? No, I'm not doing the resume. Didn't I see you put pictures on Facebook? He got a gaming machine and all that. He can figure that out. He need to do his resume. Take the titty out their mouth. I can't do it anymore. It irritates me. Anyway, let me read y'all comments and then I'm gonna get off of here because we had 96 minutes. So let me go back and read. Tanya, Wendy, we gonna be praying for your husband. Please have him go get checked out. Society has very sociopathic, no care for other people, no empathy for others, only care and love for them. We're gonna talk about that on a biblical thing. Let me hit that on next weekend because I'm gonna go deeper on that. Because actually, Trucker Rut, you brought a scripture up and it says, "You never know when you greet an angel." I want to go over that when in the context it's used, and the fact that we all do it, even me. We grab scriptures based on a situation, but we want to make sure it's in context and that we're using it not as convenience. I'm gonna say that, not as convenience, in order to we're weighing it out with everything else. Because if we do, we'll end up being like the Pharisees and Sadducees, and they were legalistic. So when Jesus would heal on the Sabbath, they're gonna sit there and say, "Well, the law says this." Well, wait. We gotta use some wisdom and logic with this. And that's when Jesus, it would be the same way I would say, oh, a woman should not divorce her husband or vice versa unless they're having a maritable affair. Okay, so how do we deal with a man who's beating the hell out of his wife? Maybe he's not cheating, but he's beating her. Do we say she's supposed to stay in that abusive relationship? Because there's this one scripture that talks about divorce only in that context. There has to be some wisdom involved in that. We'll talk about that later. But it was a good scripture because it's very true. And I went back and looked at it and we'll talk about it more. Let's see here. All right, praying for Wendy's husband. We talked about the crazy job with the running over and killing people. Thank you, Roland. Yes, it is a blessing. Yeah, when I asked that question, that the switch track and push the coworker off the ledge, it said enough for me. And that was the other thing. The supervisor I had he said, I don't know what this acting manager has to do to prove himself. So this, cutthroat behavior may have been a way of him proving himself. I don't know. It's not my thing. I don't worry about it. I'll let them stay in whatever that ratchetness is. God has opened another door. God bless them. Keep it pushing. Let's see here. He said, wait a minute. Hold on. Roland, you said company success first, no matter the casualties. I can't. I just caught it. That's funny to me. Okay, that's funny. Wow, but that is kind of it. Oh my God. Oh, I just caught that. That's funny. Hold on, y'all. And Roland said, I'm 32. Yeah, yeah. And it's really depressing to me to see that among us. It's like my other friend is of a different culture, and I had said something about behaviors of children at the laundromat. And he goes, well, and no offense to those of y'all who's white folks. He said, well, white people's children act that way too. I said, we're supposed to be better because we've learned that we're not privileged. We've learned that we're not with a silver spoon in our mouth. And therefore, we aren't supposed to. Our goal was to carry ourselves in a better manner. Now, I'm not saying all white kids are spoiled little brats, but now I'm seeing us act worse than some of them, and I can't. All right, y'all. That's gonna be pretty much the talk tonight because we had 100 minutes and I got homework. I will probably catch y'all next Saturday or Sunday. I'll do a live. I'm trying to do one on the weekends every weekend. I did get my MacBook real quick on sale. I got the MacBook. It's old. It's like 3 or 4 years old. Normally it's like $1,000 machine. I got it for $699. I am on payment, so I did finance it. But I wanted to get it because it's becoming a little rare. It also still had it's an M1. It's the MacBook Air, and I got it for $699, which is the cheapest I've seen it is $749. But I did get one, so I got it on a Black Friday deal, and I was able to finance it. So I did that, and I'm gonna start doing more because Macs give you a better editing capability. So there's some things I want to bring in. I am going to get back out in the backyard. I was sitting our back patio. I was sitting there looking at what I want to do, and I am going to do raised beds. Right now, I've been doing bags, but I'm going to do raised beds. I'll take y'all through the journey. I'm going to order some. I haven't decided which ones yet, but I got some ideas. So that'll be implemented sometime between now and summer, if the Lord's willing, if the rapture don't happen. One of the things I'm going to say to y'all at the end of every video, if a whole bunch of folks be disappearing, Shannon hopes to be in that disappearance called a rapture. Do not, if you stuck here, take that number. Don't take it. I'll have water, please. Don't take it. I know there's going to be some really bad stuff that's going to happen. But if you take the number, you're going to have eternal bad stuff that's going to happen. So do not take it. Y'all be blessed. If you don't know the Lord, please research, find out about him. All it does, plenty, YouTube University. I'm not going to get into that here. I'm going to be talking about them off and on throughout. But I want mine to be more of a natural flow. And it's really not hard. You talk to God just like you talk to a friend. And my big thing is say, if you're real, show me you, and then show me, and let you come to that meeting of the road, and you'll know exactly what to do from there. Anyway, y'all, peace, 2 and 2. Be blessed.